folks, welcome back to the homestead. Well, I wanted to give my thoughts on the Okie Homesteading Expo, which was in Pryor, Oklahoma, this past Friday and Saturday. Now, this is the third year they've done this, and it was the first year that Chief and I went, and I want to give my thoughts on it. Now, I gotta say, I was super impressed. Man, in 3 short years, like I said, this was the first year we've gone, but in 3 short years, these couple of YouTube channels, which are kind of homestead channels, have put on this expo, and I can't believe the speakers that they had at this expo in so few short years that they've been doing this. We had an absolute wonderful time. A little bit of a hiccup for us is I'm still dealing with these IV antibiotics for this infection, which my finger, by the way, is doing really good. All healed up, on the outside for the most part. Some scabbing yet, but doing really good. So that's a little update on that, but I have a PICC line in my other arm, and I'm still dealing with IV antibiotics 3 times a day. And so it makes me tired, makes me a little nauseous after I administer them, and it's incredibly big pain in the butt. Just having to plan where to do it, and you got to stay relatively clean and whatever. So I did miss out on some of the expo. I didn't get to enjoy it to the fullest, I don't feel, but still enjoyed the heck out of it. I just can't tell you how impressed I was. It was fantastic. But I wanted to grab the schedule that I had from the expo, and I kind of circled the stuff that I enjoyed. So I'm gonna get that out and we'll talk about it. Okay, so it's a little bit windy this evening, so I'm trying to get to a spot that's out of the wind. We've been so warm lately, but it got cold overnight, and I don't know, weird season so far already. But so just a couple of the things that I went to was we got to see the Macs, which, if you're not familiar with that family, they're not in Oklahoma. I don't remember what state they're in, but they're a farm / kind of preparedness type channel. They were fantastic. Knew they would be. We saw Simple Growing in Trying Times with Leon Sloan. His channel is Gardening with Leon. And if you're not familiar with who Leon is, he's here in Oklahoma, Kingston, Oklahoma. Leon is just like a national treasure. He's an older gentleman who's been living this kind of farming and outdoor lifestyle his whole life. He's the one who built this high tunnel greenhouse for us. His design, and this has been up about, 5 years maybe. So anyway, this is kind of what he does, is these high tunnels, but also has a nursery there in Kingston. Really big operation, actually, but he's got a crew that travels all over. I think Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, probably Kansas, kind of, South Midwest or whatever you want to call it, building these. And anyway, he was great, and he always is. Raising butcher steers, by Bar 7 Ranch. If you don't know who they are, super funny. Another fellow mustache wearer, whatever you're going to call that. I was a little disappointed because, as you know, we have Longhorn cattle. He's not a fan of Longhorn cattle, so that was a little disappointing, and it was quite obvious that he's not a fan of them. But you know what? They're not for everybody, that's for sure, and so that's all right. Let's see, raising feeder pigs. One that was really good was Homestead Taxes and Bookkeeping with Dan Snyder, CPA. He has a channel on YouTube. I think, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just has his website. But you could probably just Google him and find out the information there. One that was really good was Livestock Guardian Dogs with Texas A&M AgriLife Research Center. Man, that guy, Bill Costanzo, he was sharp. He did a really good presentation. Be Nice to Your Weeds with Dr. Patrick Jones. That was honestly probably my favorite presentation that I watched. Now, like I said, I didn't get to see them all, but man, that guy's full of energy. I had never heard of him before, and I wasn't going to go to this breakout, but I ran into a friend of mine who said that was the reason why she was there, just for his presentation. And so she said, "Man, you will love him. You got to go." So I went in and sat with her in that presentation, and wow, super impressive. I would say check him out. He has a website. They have a whole big company with, you know, herbalist type stuff. He is a veterinarian, or was at least. I think he still is. And then got into the herbalist. He is an herbalist, but they have a company doing all this, and they're from Idaho, actually. And that is Homegrown Herbalist School of Botanical Medicine. And wow, I was super impressed. It's not something I know a whole lot about, but man, I was impressed. Let's see here. I didn't do the welding demonstration. It was a hands-on thing, and because of, you know, the welder, the arc from the weld, you know, it can burn your eyes, and so it was kind of enclosed with tarps for people's safety. And so I didn't actually do the presentation, but I went over and met I want to make sure I'm getting it right. So if you want to look these names up, but Old Pecan Homestead, and they're also here in Oklahoma. I've just been seeing their videos, following them for a while, and they just seem like people that I would, you know, people I'd like. So I wanted to go meet them, especially since they're here in Oklahoma. And so it was great talking to you guys if you're watching this. Let me see here. Backyard Chickens with Walker Farm Fam. The Max, like I said, they did a couple different things, canning, and also top 10 items to stockpile. So kind of preparedness. Another really good one was Aquaponics with Olive Branch Aquaponics. They're here in Oklahoma. And what else? Trying to think of what else. Kind of the highlight. Well, it was, first of all, it was really neat to see a bunch of YouTubers that I have followed, subscribed to, and watched videos for a very, very long time. It was really cool to see all these people in the same place. And I don't know. I'm not much on just, you know, a lot of them seemed really busy. A lot of them were involved with running the expo. I would have loved to introduce myself, but they're busy, you know, and I'm, you know, you know, I just think it was just a really neat expo, lots going on. But the one guy that I did want a picture with, he's the only picture that I got. Other than me and Chief, we took a little picture in front of the backdrop thing. But Joel Salatin, if you're not familiar with him, Polyface Farms from Virginia, I think Virginia. You know, he's kind of the guru on, well, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, regenerative agriculture, or I don't know what you want to call it. But doing a lot of really, really neat things. And, you know, he's does a lot of the pasture rotation and a lot of cool composting ideas, stuff like that. And I really like all that. And I've been following him and, you know, watching his content for a long time. So when I saw him in the breezeway, I just thought, oh man, I've got to, you know, thank him for coming there and, you know, presenting. He did 2 presentations, and so it was really cool. But he's the only one I took a picture with. I'll throw that up on the screen here. But other than, like I said, with me and Chief, and then me and Joel, it was the only pictures I took. And, you know, it just, people were busy. I'm still a little bit awkward with walking around in public, you know, filming. So I'm just not really comfortable with that. So I didn't take any video at all. I would say if you want to see some really cool video, go over to my buddy Mike and Tanya, Fowler Family Farms. Mike was an MC at the event in one of the buildings, and which you did a great job, Mike. And go to their channel. Their latest video, I think it's their latest video, depending on when you're watching this. They have a lot of clips from the expo, and you can just kind of get a feel of the setting and you know, what the presenters, you know, the stage and the just how it all kind of is set up. So there's kind of 3 or 4 presentations or demonstrations going on at any given time in different locations there, right in it's at the, I think it's the Mays County Fairgrounds. I think they called it the event center actually, but there's, you know, more than one thing going on at once. So you kind of have to pick what your, you know, favorite thing is going to be on the schedule. Lots of stuff for kids, lots of animals, kind of a petting zoo type setup, pony rides, jumpy, bouncy houses. There was food trucks, some hands-on demonstrations. What else? I can't think of everything else. I was really, really impressed. We will definitely be going back every year from here on out. And I can't even imagine the undertaking of setting all that up. So the 2 channels that are doing that, man, my hat's off to you. We just loved it. So anyway, so that's my thoughts on the expo. It was awesome, and you need to go make plans for next year. So I think they have like a Facebook page and an Instagram page. I would highly recommend following that, so you know when they start planning and releasing the names of the speakers for the next year and when tickets go on sale and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, that's my thoughts. We're here in the high tunnel. I'm going to turn you around. We're going to just do a quick little update. Like I said, it's probably normal weather for this time of year, right today anyway, but we have had unusually warm weather last month, really all winter. But it's colder outside. I'm inside now. I'm already sweating. It's so warm in here. But I'm going to turn you around. We're going to take a look at a few things, do a little quick garden update. So I'm on the south end of the tunnel here. These beds, I've showed in other videos, these beds here, a couple more here, here, and over here. I have not gotten my dirt filled in there yet. So I've got my wood at the bottom. I've got a bunch of bags of leaves that are decomposing. I need to throw those in. A few of these have chicken manure from the coop, dog hair swept up from the shop, stuff like that. I'd love to get some fish carcasses, and obviously there'll be a lot of chicken manure, leaves, wood chips, and then they'll be filled in with dirt. But I got to get this done. Maybe that'll happen this weekend. I've got 3 beds of onions, or four beds of onions. Here's my elderberry plants that I potted up. They're looking pretty good. If you haven't seen that, if you didn't see that video, go check that out. These are some plants that I bought from an online nursery. I can't remember. These are from Burnt Ridge Nursery. I think they're in Washington or Oregon. Anyway, some different plants that I don't already have growing here on the homestead. I've got some potatoes in here. There's some coming up already. Actually, kind of late for potatoes. I mean, usually my plants are pretty big in here by now. I've got some of my tomato plants. These are the ones I started from seed. Those are jalapenos. Some tomato plants that I up potted. My fig tree here is getting leaves on it. And of course the weeds are coming in. And then here, these are hazelnut trees that I did cuttings of, I don't know, 2 months ago, maybe a month or so ago. But I mean, they're doing pretty good. Those are some, I've never done cuttings of hazelnut, but so far so good. Some of my other cuttings. Here's the grape cuttings. Seems like they're doing okay. And then I've got some of my trees that I grew from seed, potted up, and these are from last year. And I put them in individual pots. We'll see how they do. Let them get a little bit bigger, and we'll plant them out next year. Some herbs here. That's comfrey. I'm just gonna let that whole bed fill in with comfrey. Comfrey's like a medicinal type plant. But I've got some beds filled in. My tomato plants were getting so big inside my grow tent that I had to start planting them in here, or I don't know if they were even gonna make it. They're about to outgrow their little pots they were in. This is some rhubarb here. I don't even really eat rhubarb, but somebody will. I just grew it for fun, mainly. My mom grew a lot of rhubarb when we were growing up, and so it's just kind of something fun to grow. Looks like I've got some asparagus to harvest in here. So let's take a look inside this grow tent. Okay, I just pulled this one corner up here, but you can see I've got some basil, and chamomile. I just planted those. It seems like I didn't have any problem with my jalapenos, but all my bell peppers, I think the mice got in here and got those, and the banana peppers. Looks like I got 2 banana peppers that didn't get their leaves eaten off. And maybe 1, 2, 3, there may be 4. There's another one, 4. There are some more peppers back over here. So I may end up buying some pepper plants, because I don't know, I'd like to plant more than that. But these tomato plants, all different varieties. These ones here are probably 14, 15 inches tall. It might be a little hard to tell on the video, but I'd say that's 14, 15 inches tall. These ones over here are, I mean, look at them compared to the tops of these. Those are probably 20 inches or more tall. And some of these here, I mean, they're laying over. These things need to be planted soon. But we're not to a point where we can outside yet. Kind of hard to tell. There's a lemon tree in the middle there. It looks like that survived the winter, but I don't know how many tomato plants there are. There's a bunch. I don't know how many tomato plants there are there, but there's a bunch. I don't want to put all tomatoes in the tunnel here, so I'm kind of stuck for now until I get some more of these beds filled, the empty beds, till I get those filled. I'm kind of done planting in here, I think. Tomatoes, anyway. What I like to do is plant some, whatever I'm planting, green beans, tomatoes, peppers of whatever types, hot bell, whatever. I like to plant some in here and some outside, and that way it extends my season. And you know, it just gives me different varieties. Sometime last year, almost all of my stuff that was outside was destroyed by like a few July-ish hailstorms that we had that just devastated everything. It also devastated the plastic. It's hard to see, but my plastic is destroyed with holes like this. On the north and west side, because that's the way the storm was moving. So the plastic and the shade cloth actually saved the plants that were in my tunnel, which is great. But now my plastic and my shade cloth I can deal with having some holes in it, but the plastic, it's got to get replaced. So anyway, I'm kind of at a standstill. These tomato plants, I'm probably going to have to up pot or put them in a bigger pot. Or I don't know. I don't know what'll happen to them. They're not going to be happy, that's for sure. They may get root bound, and I mean, I'm not going to let them die or anything, but I'll probably up pot some and try to wait out this season. We get it warmed up enough outside where we're safe from frost or freeze, and we can get these planted outside as well. So I don't think I'll be planting all those. I'll probably give a bunch away, trade some, whatever. Me personally, I'd rather trade or give them away or whatever than to sell them. For now anyway. Eventually I'd love to get into growing like a bunch of tomato pepper plants and selling those, but for now, you know, I'd rather share them or trade them. So I'm gonna go outside and turn you around, and we'll take a look at a few other things. Before we go outside, I wanted to say my seedling chamber here out of this old fridge and my grow tent here has worked better than I thought it was going to. I knew it was going to work because my friend Rita has been doing it for a couple of years now. She's the one who told me about all that, and it has worked fantastic. If you haven't seen that, go back. If you're new here or whatever, you just didn't watch the other videos, go back and check those videos out. I'm just so impressed with how that's worked out, the germination chamber and the grow tent. So check out those irises. Normally I grow vegetables in that bed. Well, all these beds are normally vegetables, but a few years ago I divided up a bunch of irises, and I didn't have anywhere to put them. I had potted so many of them up and gave them away, and I ran out of pots, ran out of dirt that I had that was handy to put them in and everything. So I stuck them all in here, the extra ones, and man, they've done well. I've got some containers with raspberry. Here's the garlic I planted. Let's see, that would have been, I guess last summer. And this stuff overwinters. So looking pretty good. I just like intermingling that stuff in the bed with tomatoes or peppers or whatever. Looks like these grapevines are getting some buds. I've got some weeding to do, I see. Asparagus is coming in good. I got a mess in that pig pen over there. The pigs went to the butcher, last week? So I've got some building supplies stuff, some metal on the ground there. I got to build a new hut, and we've got to get this leveled out and get some seed put down. Some apple trees. These are columnar apple trees, so they grow real in a tight formation. They only get like 3 feet wide. I mean, you can see this tree here is probably, let me go to this side. It doesn't have all of its leaves on it yet, but that thing's probably only not even 6 foot tall, and it's been there for about 5 years. So for those of you who've been following along, the last little update I want to give is on this pond project we had done. We recently hired a company to dig this pond out just a little bit and fill in over here. I'll show you in a second where we had an above ground pool that was buried in the ground. It took a lot of dirt, but we got a lot of between 1.5 inches of rain last week and the windmill overflow, the windmill stock tank overflow. This is what we got in the pond so far. It's nowhere near full. It's not even a quarter full. But here's the rest of the project coming along. I made this little creek, put down a liner on this. Now we've still got to fill in rock as you can see on that liner, but ultimately this is how it'll all look. And at the end down there, that is where my overflow from my windmill stock tank pours into. And it's not spinning right now, so that's why there's no water. But the rest of this is, let that focus there we go. If you missed the previous videos, this will be a dry creek bed with, it'll be all stone. It'll look like a riverbed. That's my goal. But since then, we have gotten some plants planted. We've got mulch down, and things are starting to come together pretty good, I think. This bed over here, we ran out of mulch, obviously. So I've still got to finish this little part of deck that I tore halfway out. I'm gonna put that back in, part of it. This will all get covered with mulch. These little bucket things, I cut the top and bottom out of. These are a cleaner that I get from a business. Anyway, they're just gonna throw these away. So I cut the top and bottom of them out, and I use them as protection from rabbits on my trees when I plant them. So anyway, the black mulch was Chief's idea. She wanted the black mulch. I think it turned out great. So anyway, that's a little update on a few things here at the farm and my 2 cents on the Okie Homesteading Expo. Man, it was great. So, you know, follow them on Facebook. That's where I, get most of my information about them, is on Facebook. If you'll follow them on Facebook and stay up to date on when the next one will be, I think they're gonna have to find a bigger venue at some point. I mean, it was awesome. The amount of people that were there from all over the place. I mean, I think probably most were from Oklahoma, but I know that there was people from all over. Like I said, some of the speakers and YouTubers that were there, they were from Florida, Virginia, West Virginia, Texas, Idaho. So it's gonna be a huge event moving forward, I have no doubt. So that's really exciting to me. The more people that are in this lifestyle, homesteading, small farm, self-sufficiency, producing stuff for themselves, the better, in my opinion. So it's a cool community to be involved with and get to know, make friends with like-minded people. That's what it's all about. So anyway, we'll wrap this up. Thank you guys, as always, for being here, for watching my videos and supporting us. And we'll see you on the next video.